Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, here with a Constructicon review of Voyager Long Haul. This guy's vehicle mode is deceptively small, deceptively cute, and I really like it a lot. I actually like it more than his robot mode. The huge tires means that this guy rolls really nicely, and you get this neato hydraulic kind of gimmick going on with his lifto bed. It's really solid, and despite all the moving parts underneath, many of which are involved with the transformation, it actually is quite a nice little feature. The sculpted detail and whatnot's all cool, but I just like how compact this guy is, because in his robot mode, he's actually quite a bit bigger, and it surprised me when I transformed him the first time. Although his bulkiness is still pretty easy to see when compared to his other Constructicon brethren. I do like for the team that these guys kind of make when you put them all out together like this, and I hope that we can get at least one of the other two at some point, but if these four are all we're gonna get, I'd actually be quite happy with that, because just look at this motley crew. I mean, this is neat. I think that regardless of whether or not they combine, this is a really neat little team to have on your shelf. However, these guys aren't in the review. It's all about the big green. So let's transform. Long Haul is an extremely fun toy to transform. In fact, I dare say it's my favorite part of the overall experience. His transformation is intricate and unique, but still remains solid and intuitive. Everything not only has a place to go, but a tab or peg to lock in position. If fun transformation is your buying priority, I think you'll find it in this guy. From cute and stumpy dump truck to terrifying green behemoth, this is Long Haul in robot mode. And I am actually fairly impressed by this, even though it's not the hulking Josh Nizzy juggernaut that a lot of people wanted. I think he still turns out pretty well. He looks a bit lanky, but that's only because you're expecting tree trunks down here. He's still pretty bulky. The only place where I have some issues is up here. It looks like a lot of things were trying to happen at the same time up here, and none of them really panned out. These big tires, they are up, you know, like you're expecting, but they're not connected to the shoulders at all. What does help, though, is you can swivel them back if you don't really care about the accuracy to Nizzy's design, and they make for pretty decent-looking turbine sort of things. I kind of find them amusing, though, when they're pointed straight up. I don't know why. It's kind of like the dude's wearing a pair of top hats on his backpack. As far as poseability goes, there are a lot of joints. A lot of heavy ratcheting joints in the shoulders. In fact, they're so heavy they do sometimes make the waist pop out. And the hips, nice big clicking joints, thigh swivels, which took me by surprise. And there's a really cool gimmick in the elbows here, where when you bend his elbows, you get this neat hydraulic action. Unfortunately, I think this also limits his elbows a bit. I was kind of hoping for double joints, but I hope for a lot of things, and a lot of the things I hope for are unrealistic and downright childish. One big thing, though, that annoys me is that his wrists, although they bend inward like this from the transformation, they don't swivel, and that means he does have Guerrilla Arms, and I hate Guerrilla Arms. Even though you can swivel this part, they're still just... I can't dig them very much at all. I really want to, but sorry to say, guys, the arms do disappoint me a lot. The legs are not bad, though, and the knee is really nice, although he does look like he's trying to rock the Decepticon chicken walk look, and he almost can, but his ankle can't bend forward enough to allow for it to be solid, which is odd because the ankle does have an entire built-in gimmick for bending. Similar to the elbows, he's got this kind of spring-looking piston that moves in and out when you bend his ankle here, so... I don't know, it's odd. It's like this guy is trying to pull off a few tricks that I think would have been really clever and didn't manage to do it. He's also a bit of a victim of having some excellent sculpted detail and tons of it, but a lot of it is not painted. So like these hoses here, or a lot of the wiring inside his joints, or the big pistons on his fingers, all that stuff could do with a touch of paint if you're the kind of dude to do that. Perhaps even a Radicon! And hey, maybe I'll do it myself sometime, you know? Just don't ask me about that sideways. Anyway, the only thing that I find is a little bit unsolid on this guy is up here. This thing tabs into this thing, which tabs into that part, and sometimes it's solid, sometimes it comes loose. Although I do appreciate the number of tabs involved, it's really just this little tent over his head. I kind of like it because it's cute, but at the same time, I know that a lot of people wish that this could all recess a little bit more, and that is a bit of a shame. His gimmick is actually quite cool. I like this. Spring-loaded swords always win me over, especially when they're hatchets like that. The only downside is that while it's a neat gimmick, because of the way his arms work, it's hard to make him look effective with these. Even if you just ignore the fact that he's palm up and going all like, promotions! When you try to put him into poses that involve the blades, in concept, I think these poses are really cool, but then when I look at them in execution, I think he looks kind of silly. Also, I just want to point out, this head swivel really does help, and I wasn't expecting it, because being able to turn his head left and right can really make the menacing standing there poses work just that little bit extra. And it's quite a nice touch. I think that, if anything, that's my favorite part of Poseability on this guy, because that way, even though he's a little bit hard to pose effectively, he can add that touch of character by glancing to the side. Longhaul also has a somewhat inconspicuous Mech Alive feature, whereby, when you turn his head, this disc in the middle of his chest rotates. It's neat. I have no idea what it's supposed to represent, and I actually didn't even realize it was there until about a minute ago, and this is about a week or two after I filmed the rest of the review, but there you go. Mech Alive. So now I've got him in this kind of ninja pose, and, you know, it kind of works, but at the same time, it kind of looks hilarious. I don't know why. There's something about him where I feel he doesn't really lend himself that well to a lot of poses. So I guess that's a bit of a knock against him, because I was hoping for a bit more given the fully bipedal nature of his design. That said, though, I do really enjoy this toy, as I said, mainly for the transformation, and in robot mode, when he's just standing there looking menacing, he's extremely good at it. And as I said, the little tiny head swivel goes miles in enhancing that part of the experience. So, overall, I do actually like this guy quite a bit. Not as much as I was hoping to. And I'd say I mildly recommend him. If you really need a posable toy, you might be somewhat disappointed unless you're okay with the way his hands work, or maybe your taste in posing aesthetics is a little bit different than mine. But, as it is, I think he looks at his best when he's just like this, you know, staring at you because he's big and long haul. But with a decent vehicle mode, a decent robot mode, and an excellent transformation, I really do have to give this guy a moderate recommendation. Unless there's something about this that's really turning you off, I'd say you'd probably enjoy him. And big props to Hailstorm for helping me buy him, because I couldn't find him here in Canada, so I bought one through Hailstorm. And then a week later, he showed up at my local Walmart. But that aside, thank you, Hailstorm. Thank you. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus. I hope that this review was informative and helpful to you in some way. And once you go big and green, it's hard to turn back.